Hi Capricorn, I hope you're doing well. Capricorn, so today's message is going to be a general message, so hopefully there is something in here for you. But if it's not resonating, please don't try and force the message to fit. If there isn't anything for you in this video, hopefully there will be in the next message. But as I said, don't try and force it to fit, because then you can get some misinformation that maybe isn't actually relevant to your situation, and then it can all just get very confusing. You will know if the message is resonating truly with you in your situation, so make sure you're just always checking in to your intuition as you're watching. Capricorn, you can reverse the roles that I am interpreting, so if I'm saying that one side is you and I'm channeling the message that way, but you're resonating more with the other half of the side that I'm describing, that's absolutely fine as well. Just reverse them as you need to. It's just easier if I stick from one perspective, because otherwise it can get confusing swapping and changing. And there is no dates on these readings, so whenever the message finds you, if it resonates for you, that's great. There's no boundaries on the videos in terms of time and things like that. So let's get to it. I have to admit, everything feels incredibly strange right now, Capricorn. I've tried to record this video twice now. The first time I got 5 minutes through the video and I was like, no, this doesn't feel right. I switched it off, and then I tried again and I couldn't even do the introduction, which is strange because usually I can just sit in front of the camera, I can turn it on and I can just start talking straight away and it just flows incredibly naturally. But as soon as I sat down to do yours, it all feels strange. I feel almost separate from myself. So this might be something that you're experiencing, Capricorn, the Capricorn that this message is going to be for. It almost feels like a slight dissociative kind of feeling. Like I'm sat here and I'm talking, but I can see myself moving on the camera, and it doesn't feel like it's me, which is strange. I know. I mean, I've never really had this before, so I'm assuming that this isn't my energy. I'm assuming this is yours, because until I sat down to do the reading, I was absolutely fine. And as I was saying, I had to record. This is my third time trying to record this now, so that's just something to bear in mind. So I'm hoping that this message comes through okay, but I have a feeling it might come through a little bit confused. I'm going to try my hardest to really pull it apart and hopefully bring you some information that might be helpful to anyone who might be experiencing this strange like set of energy that I'm seeing in right now. Even that I know isn't the right word, but it's weird. It's weird. It feels uncomfortable. It does. So let's get started. 3 minutes and I've not even pulled a card, but I intuitively read the cards anyway. I don't stick with the traditional meanings of cards, like say if I do use a tarot deck, for example. I much more read the cards intuitively, and yeah, that energy that the reading has started on is extremely strange. Anyway, so the talking brings a message with it anyway, not just the cards. Capricorn, let's try and unravel this. Capricorn. I've noticed a lot of my readings keep sort of steering towards shadow work readings, which was never really my intention to start doing readings like that, but maybe that's obviously what wants to come through on the channel. Capricorn. Temperance. I want one more. This is what came out anyway, Temperance. Which would make sense, really. Temperance, oh, you've got two. Temperance, King of Wands, and the Ten of Pentacles. That's interesting. So just give me a minute, Capricorn. Right. Okay. It feels like I'm speaking to a Capricorn that has lost a foundation. they've lost a lot recently, and that's maybe where this dissociation, jeez, that's maybe where this dissociation is coming in, right? It's like you don't recognize anything anymore. Everything has shifted and changed so rapidly, from something that felt incredibly stable and solid, and that was long term. I mean, straight away, I'm kind of thinking that I'm looking at the breakdown of a family unit here, Capricorn, because the first thing that I kind of noticed with this Temperance card is you see how the angel is looking at all this water that's pouring out. It's like Capricorn's just looking at this cup, right? And the cup always represents our emotions. It represents our heart, our love, our care that we give to others, right? Because it's all our waters. And you know, it's like Capricorn's looking at this cup, and it's like you might as well have just poured it all on the ground, is what it feels like. It's almost like there's been a hole in this the bottom of this bowl here that the angel's pouring the water into, and that it's just all kind of like poured out onto the floor, and Capricorn's like, all of that was just wasted. Or not wasted, but you clearly were pruning away at something, you know, nurturing it, feeding it, providing it, giving it all of your love, care, attention, your emotions, and it hasn't bear fruit. Or it has bear fruit, right? Because I'm really seeing this as like a partner here, and that, you know, you potentially have children together. It has bear fruit, but it's only bared fruit for a season, not a lifetime. It's like the tree has bared fruit, you know, for a couple of seasons, and something happened, the clock stopped, and the tree suddenly isn't providing anymore, right? The tree, what's the tree? The tree is the family unit, right? It's our roots. It's our roots that we have here on earth. So it's really, I'm really, my heart goes out to whichever Capricorn I'm kind of connecting with here, because you are really struggling. I think that's what all that dissociative sort of feeling that I was getting at the start of the reading, because now I kind of feel back to normal now that I've started reading the cards. But yeah, look at this figure here, Capricorn. You feel almost played, almost cheated, I want to say, because you see how these two individuals here are like playing a game of chess on your back. It's like on the back of your work, on the back of your burdens, or how much you've like provided this situation, how much you've given to it. It's like you've been stabbed. You feel like you've been stabbed in the back. You feel like you've been cheated out of something that was yours and that should be yours, right? So it does feel like almost like a family unit breakdown here, like maybe a partner's left, maybe left with the kids, or, you know, they've just left and now you're the one who's stuck with the kids. Something like that. Obviously, I don't know all the specifics of your situation, Capricorn, but, you know, you will know how the story that I interpret kind of like fits to your situation. But yeah, this figure here, that's just like, God, it's heavy, Capricorn. It feels heavy. It feels like a burden. It's a burden that you're having to move forward. But it's do you know, the way that it's coming through is like you recognize how much of a burden it is, or how much of heartbreak it is, right? How much of a disappointment it is, how much work it might be moving forward. You recognize that, and don't get me wrong, you feel terrible, like, but this is what I was saying. Sorry, it's coming in really quick now, so I'm trying to interpret it as best as I can, keeping up with it. It's coming through as almost not emotional. It's like it's the situation, the breakdown, the collapse of this foundation, this safety net, this stability, has rather than made you go extremely emotional and like Capricorns, you know, like crying all the time and, you know, needing to talk to people. Like, this is how I would react, you know, like as a water sign. I'd just you know, if I was in this situation, I would just cry all the time. It would take me ages to get over it. I just talk to all my friends and just sob my heart out, because that's just the way that I would process the emotions, right? But you're a Capricorn, right? That's not how Capricorns necessarily do things. So it's almost like you're not transmuting how the situation has affected you in that way. You've almost, it's gone into a like a psychological thing. Like I was saying, this dissociation, it almost feels like, it feels like you've gone into not autopilot, it's oh god, this is gonna frustrate me. It's not autopilot, it's like you've gone into, you just feel completely detached from everything. Maybe it is autopilot, maybe, you know, it's like you've just kind of like a wall's gone up and it's like, right, I just need to crack on, I just need to get this sorted, I just need to move forward, and I just, you know, but you're not processing the emotions, you're not allowing yourself to sit in the emotions and process them. You're just kind of like, you've gone into this psychological response, as I said, and you've gone up into your brain rather than into your heart, because your heart is, it's too painful to go into your heart right now. It's too painful. Capricorn doesn't want to open that Pandora box, because as soon as they open that Pandora box, there's just going to be bats and zombies and demons that are just going to fly out and attack your face, or at least that's what it feels like, right? So instead, you've just kind of gone into this autopilot. There's definitely a different word that I wanted to use for that, but we're just going to have to stick with autopilot. You've gone into this autopilot mode, and you just, nothing, it feels almost like you're wandering through a dream, right? Like nothing feels solid, nothing feels necessarily real, like you just feel incredibly detached. You're just like walking in a haze. You're walking in a haze after the explosion's gone off. It's like this huge explosive event went off in your life, and all the smoke is starting to settle now, but like Capricorn still has the ringing in their ears, and they're sort of walking around just like incredibly disorientated, but nonetheless still cracking on with everything that they need to do and getting everything in order. But you're not present, Capricorn. Like you're not present at all. You've totally detached, totally disassociated yourself from your emotions because you can't cope with dealing with them. The dolphin and the whale. Sorry, these cards came out before. God, look how beautiful. Oh my god, this is so lovely, because that was an incredibly heavy like message that was coming through now, right? But look at all this beautiful rainbow color that's just burst through into the reading, and we have two animals of water here, right? Two animals that rule the water realm, and actually the whale is like the emperor of the water realm, okay? So each element, right, has animals associated with the elements, and within those animals that are associated with the elements, there's always like a top dog, right? A top dog that sits higher than the rest of them, right? And they're the emperor energy or the empress energy, you know, like the king, the queen of that element. So this is absolute mastery, this whale here, because the whale's the emperor or the empress of water. This is absolute mastery of the deepest possible, darkest emotions that you may potentially experience. It's like Capricorn has mastered it so precisely to the point that you're not allowing yourself to experience the emotions. That's what I was saying. It's like you've detached from that water element and you've gone straight to air, right? You've gone straight into your mind and your headspace, and you're not processing these deeper emotions, right? Because the whale dives so deep under the ocean. He goes so deep, Capricorn. And it's like you've mastered the ability so well to not feel your emotions that, I don't know, like, hold on, just give me a minute. You have to talk about this, Capricorn, what you're going through. What was I saying? It's like you don't want to talk to other people, or you don't want to offload onto other people, but you have to, Capricorn, because I'm being hugely drawn to, you see his throat here and how it's all purple? It's like it's bruised almost. Like it's bruised, like it's like you're parched, like you can't, like your throat is so dry. It might be so dry from, oh, I don't know, because I was saying you weren't crying before, but maybe you have been crying, and it's like maybe in your alone time you've been crying, maybe, or you know, it's like so blocked and swollen, the throat chakra, like you can't talk. You're not allowing yourself to talk because it's too, that's it, it's too painful to explain the situation. It's too painful to talk about it. It's bruised, it's swollen. Like Capricorn can't talk about it because it's just too painful to open up the throat chakra and communicate it. But the message coming through is that you need to, right? And this dolphin energy here, right? This is absolute, right? Dolphins move in pods, right? Dolphins are one of the most highly social creatures of the animal kingdom, and especially in the water realm, right? They are all about communication. They're all about talking, right? They're so vocal. They're so vocal, so much so that they can actually intimidate some human sounds, right? This feels like a pod. You Capricorn have this pod of dolphins around you that want you to talk about this because they see that you've just gone into complete autopilot and you're not processing the emotions correctly, and that is actually dangerous, Capricorn. Like, it might get you through these next few weeks, these next few months, but that in the long term is going to cause some sort of psychological damage from these incredibly deeply painful repressed emotions from this breakdown of an environment, this breakdown of a situation here, that you have to talk about it. You have to. And the perfect people to talk about this to is this pod of dolphins here, and you know exactly who that is, right? This friendship, this camaraderie. This could even be therapy, right? This could even be like a therapist. You know, you could interpret it that way, but it feels like multiple people. It feels like the network, right? The emotional network. Because you see how like they're facing each other as well? It's like one-to-one conversation. That's what Capricorn needs. Because it's going to suffocate you otherwise. Right, one more card I'm feeling. One more card. We're going to finish on the fairies, I think. One more card, please, for Capricorn. Oh, okay. I think we got two out. So beautiful, so beautiful. You have the Singer of Transmutation. What was I talking about? Transmuting emotions, right? And then the Lady of the Harvest. You are going to emerge from this, Capricorn, with new life. And although that doesn't feel like it necessarily is going to happen right now, or right now you might not be able to see that, but you have the card of the Phoenix here, right? The Phoenix rising. And then you have the Lady of the Harvest, which is the absolute bounty, right? It's abundance. So you are going to have a new breath of life, a new direction, a new lust for life again, a new burning of that flame that feels like it's just been absolutely stomped on and put out recently because of this breakdown of this situation. But you are going to have this Phoenix rising moment, right? But you have to do what I was talking about. You have to, you know, this is almost coming across like a sonic boom now. Like, you need to just scream. Let me put it like this. You need to just scream at these people here. Like, just completely, just, if you need to break down on your knees and cry your eyes out and just bellow and bellow, if you need to do that, Capricorn, once you start talking about this situation, because it's so incredibly painful for you, even though you're not processing it right now, you know, hit this pod of dolphins with this sonic boom with your communication. Just cry, scream, shout, let it all out. Talk, and talk some more, and then talk even more, Capricorn. Talk. I feel like I need to emphasize that. Talk, Capricorn. talk about the situation. That was enough talks. That was how many was needed. You need to talk about it, because if you don't, as I was saying, it's like it's going to fester and it's going to create this poison, right? This poison that needs to be pushed out. And then, you know, the thing is, if we don't transmute our emotions correctly, if we don't transmute situations that are emotionally painful for us correctly, then they can appear in other areas of our life subconsciously. You know, if you hold a grudge to someone and then you kind of like don't really process the situation, then, you know, moving forward, that could be taken into your next relationship, right? If this is, you know, a breakdown of a marriage or something, right? You wouldn't want that to pass on to the next, you know, relationship that you go into. You wouldn't want to hold, you know, your next partner accountable for the things that your past partner did, all right? It's that kind of a thing. You have to process situations correctly and move through the emotions, because you don't want it to subconsciously come forward in your behaviors moving forward and then cause issues in other areas of your life. But anyway, Phoenix rising, this is what's promised, Capricorn. This is what's promised to you. But in order to achieve this point, right, this turning point, you have to do this Lady of the Harvest, right? This is like the Grim Reaper just coming in. What is the Grim Reaper? The Grim Reaper is death, right? It's death of a situation, the death of something that we've lost. You know, I'm just seeing him come through like with his I can't think what the thing's called. You know, that thing that he has, just sort of like going through the crop field. In order for you to reach this Phoenix rising moment, you have to clear the dead leaves. You have to clear the dead harvest, the dead fruit. What was I saying about at the start, that the tree no longer is bearing fruit, right? It's like it's fallen and it's rotting on the floor. You have to get rid of that. It's almost like that's your emotions. You have to get rid of it. You have to chop through it. You have to chop through the rotten fruit. You have to clear the ground, burn the ground if necessary, right? So that new life can be brought in, so that new life can be planted and develop and flourish for you moving forward, so that you can have this Phoenix rising moment. It wants to end there. Woo! Okay, that was intense. I knew that was going to be an intense reading when I sat down and there was all that weird emotion right at the start. Capricorn, I'm sending so much love and light to you, so much healing to you for whoever that was. I'm sure there's, you know, many Capricorns out there that may be going through situations like this, and I'm sending so much love and light to you. I hope you enjoyed that reading, Capricorn. If there wasn't anything in there for you, hopefully there will be in the next one. But stay safe, take care, and yeah, lots of love. Bye, Capricorn.